it's Kim here at Good Vibe Astrology, and we've got such an interesting solstice coming up on the 20th of June, or the 21st if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. It's a threefold, triple whammy. First of all, it is the solstice. That's going to be midsummer solstice if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's midwinter solstice for us down here in the Southern Hemisphere. And all alone, just that in itself, as the sun crosses 0 degrees of Cancer, it marks a time to celebrate, a time to renew our enthusiasm for life, to reset our intentions and give thanks and be grateful and have fun. There's more though. This year, the actual turning point of the solstice is on the dark moon, and then hours later, just 8 hours later, is a solar eclipse, a new moon eclipse, right on that 0 degrees, right on the solstice. And this double activates what is known as the 0 degrees Aries point. Now, just hang with me for a second. For those of you who want the astrology of this, think of the Aries point, and you're going, well, hang on, this is at 0 degrees Cancer. Why are we talking about Aries? The Aries point includes 0 degrees of all the cardinal signs. So it's 0 degrees of Aries, 0 degrees of Cancer, 0 degrees of Libra, 0 degrees of Capricorn. Think of if you had a piece of paper and you put a dot on one corner and then folded it into fours. That dot is the significance of this 0 degrees of cardinal signs. So can you see on this date, it's not just the solstice, it's not just the crossing of the Aries point, it's not just an eclipse, it's all three. And I want you to really take time to think about where 0 degrees of these cardinal signs fall in your chart, and specifically where 0 degrees of Cancer falls in your chart. If you're not certain, that's okay. These horoscopes that I'm about to lay out for you can be read through what we call the solar houses. So if you're a Cancer, you're going to listen to the Cancer one. If you're Aries, you're going to listen to the Aries one. If you particularly know what house 0 degrees of Cancer is in your chart, then you will go there. This solstice eclipse is activating very powerfully, not just right now, but as a pattern of energy for the next 6 months. You may have already experienced a hint of this because of the timing of eclipses. We can have a hint or a pre-paving moment or a realization 30 days before the eclipse, give or take 3 days, the time of the eclipse, give or take 3 days, or 30 days after the eclipse, give or take 3 days. Those are your hot spots for recognizing what's awakening in you, where your new intentions are going. We are experiencing a time of great change and new rituals and new routines, new understandings, new perceptions of leadership, new relationship with the body. All these things are welling up for the entire world right now, and we're all hyper aware of it. So our intentions start to shift and we start to prioritize life differently. This is a fantastic opportunity to set yourself up for strength and compassion and connection. Remember, the solstice is highlighting that 0 degrees of Cancer point where the world is our family, and we want to feel our connection to nature, our connection and oneness with all life. And through that, we can get very specific and go for the goals we're after and start to think of new ways and means of expressing and creating and connecting. So you want to make this whole time around the solstice an inner and outer celebration, looking at what you appreciate, how far you've come, being very self-supportive, augmenting your self-love and feelings of respect for you and those around you. And it's easy to do this. It's easy to use your chart to amp up these solstice intentions. Number one, you've got a spot where that 0 degrees of Cancer is in your chart. If you aren't sure how to find where 0 degrees of Cancer falls in your natal chart, maybe you haven't created your chart online yet, or you don't know how to read the houses yet, that's fine. You can jump on the forum and we'll give you a hand, or if you want, you can just listen to the solar houses. That means all you need to know is your sun sign. I'll be saying the sun sign as well as the house placements. So you can go to one or both of those areas to get a better picture of what's going on. Let's start with 0 degrees of Cancer in the first house, or If you have the sun sign Cancer, you're going to do something special for you, the way you look, the way you step out into the world, something about your wardrobe, or maybe how you adorn yourself. Some of you might get a new tattoo or a new piercing, or it might be a new outfit, a new way of being. Your style amps up and you present yourself to the world in a new way. In the second house, or if you were born in the sign of Gemini, there might be a talent or a resource that you have that you've been wanting to develop. Oh, I've always wanted to play guitar, or if only I could do pottery, or why don't I take the life drawing class? Or maybe something very practical, like when am I ever going to learn how to make a flan? There's something, an inner talent that wants to be nurtured when we have the solstice point in the second house. And if you go in there and fuel it, things start to change. If you have 0 degrees Cancer in the third house, or are a Taurus sun sign, you might find yourself taking a new course of study. There might be something you want to learn, or there could be more communication, writing, teaching, talking, maybe a connection with your siblings or cousins, someone partway related. Something about the old neighborhood might come to play. And this becomes the environment that you engage in and where you can put extra emphasis, extra nurturing for the greatest creative results. If you find 0 degrees of Cancer in the fourth house, or are an Aries sun, the focus is going to be on the home. And that is everything that surrounds and protects, whether it's your home, your family, your psychological inheritance, everything that gives you a sense of emotional stability and strength, the roots of your being. So it's not just the house that you live in, but what peoples your life, what comforts your life and allows you to move out into the world. This is where the focus is. And it can be very practical. You can be repairing, washing windows, painting, redecorating, rearranging furniture. People could be moving in or out. Or it might be more of a psychological level where you learn something new about yourself that gives you an inner peace or an inner strength. That's one thing to be open to. And just engaging in that way can bring a powerful shift in your day-to-day life. If you have 0 degrees Cancer in the fifth house, or you're a Pisces sun, what opens up and where you can really reach out to is your creative imagination. What is it that you do to express this side of yourself? It might be a part of your profession as a dancer, a musician, a performing artist, a visual artist, a filmmaker, a writer. It could be woven into what you do out in the world, regardless of the career, mission, or profession, but the creativity that you bring it. It may also be a hobby, something that you do for the love of it. And by engaging in that way, you'll find that life turns around in new directions that really surprise you in a good way. If you have 0 degrees Cancer on the sixth house, or you are Aquarius rising, this is going to be your area of health and well-being, the connection between the mind, body, and spirit. So you might find yourself working on a new fitness routine, a new nutritional approach to your well-being. It might be a time where you check up on certain health issues that you want to make a priority to bring yourself into greater strength and greater well-being. You might also find you're doing this with your pets or in association with work, those you work for or those who work for you. It can be a new day job or exploring the routine that you have. Maybe it needs amping up, maybe it needs dialing back, but you're going to find a creative balance for it at this time if you put your awareness there. If you have 0 degrees Cancer in the seventh house cusp, or your Capricorn sun, the focus is on those personal, one-to-one, socially significant, committed relationships. So this isn't a flirt or an affair or an imagined connection. This is a powerful union that co-creates your life. So it can be an artistic collaboration, it can be a business partnership, or it might be an intimate relationship. Engaging in that area of life and really looking at your core values and checking in if you are living your relationship life the way you want to will make a big difference at this time. You can make headway with relationships that have been a little difficult, a little challenging, in ways you may not have been able to do previously. So you want to take this advantage. If you have 0 degrees Cancer in the 8th house, or you're a Sagittarius sun, you're going to be looking at the deep connections that have a powerful transforming result, whether it's your intimacy, your sexuality, your shared resources. This is the kind of intensity that happens when a lump sum of money comes into play and it's shared between perhaps family members, or maybe it's a joint loan account for a business endeavor. It could be funding for an artistic project. When you share it with others, it's going to bring up any issues you have around sharing and the significance of what it means. So putting energy there, getting clear on your values, getting very clear on your ability to communicate what it is you're feeling, what it is you want, is going to make this go very smoothly and successfully. If you have 0 degrees of Cancer in the 9th house of your natal chart, or if you're a Scorpio sun, you're looking at new horizons. You want to shake things up by imagining what would it be like if you moved to a different country, or at least went on a holiday somewhere you've never been before, experimented with things that you have in the past thought were out of your reach or you just didn't have time for. There is a combination feeling of exploration into the unknown, as well as a carefree attitude of excitement. And if you can get yourself in that vibe, you're going to find some amazing surprises around the corner. If you have 0 degrees of Cancer in the 10th house, or if you're a Libra sun, it's career, mission, profession that's going to come into the spotlight. This is the area of life where you relate to the public in a professional way. It's your public image. It has to do with your goals and aspirations for external projects, the tangible results of what you're doing out there in the world. That's where you want to roll up your sleeves and give it some love and nurturing. If you have 0 degrees Cancer in the 11th house, or are a Virgo sun, it's going to be a time of connecting with others in a group sense. You want like-minded people. You want to be with those birds of a feather, those people that you consider your tribe, the people that give your life goals meaning because they're on the same page. They have the same direction in mind. And it's what you do as a group that will have the most powerful effect. So whether you're playing in a band or leading a group energy or talk, whether you're teaching or a student, or it's a group of friends about to take off on a new venture, the idea is that you connect to that experience of the one to many, and that's where you're going to discover new goals and new ideas and more aspects of yourself that you hadn't known about before. Finally, if you have 0 degrees of Cancer in the 12th house, or you are a Leo sun sign, this is the dream time. This is where you go into your inner world and you fuel your muse. It's all about giving and receiving to yourself, going into meditative states, taking yourself out of the rat race so that you can allow for your own creativity to generate. So see it as a rest time. Treat it as if it's a dark moon where you would be more generous with yourself, more peaceful about yourself, taking care that you have enough rest and enough time on your own to explore and discover inner worlds that you will later bring out through your creativity, through your career, through your goals and drives, through your relationships. All right, I hope that gives you an idea of how to utilize this solstice energy in your chart. If you want to talk about it more, the Good Vibe Forum has a thread where we can all gather and look at each other's charts and discuss it. Or if you want to make a comment, I'll drop in there and check it out for you. All right, happy solstice, everyone.